happy Saturday. Today is the day. We are finally reading Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan. I'm getting ready right now to go to the pool. My cousin and I and her sister-in-law got a resort pass to some hotel in Irving or Las Colinas, I think. But I am so excited to read this book. I have been waiting all week just for today. We were supposed to go to a resort pass last weekend, but then it ended up raining here in Dallas, and so we couldn't go, so we rescheduled for today. So I've been waiting now like 2 weeks. I think the book came out over a week ago now, so now it's been like 2 weeks of waiting to read this book because we wanted to read it together. So I was being very patient and waiting, but the day's finally here and I cannot wait. And I'm bringing you guys along with me. I'm gonna bring my DJI and vlog on there. Yeah, we're gonna have a fun-filled reading day today. I think I have everything. This is my cute beach bag. I got it from a cruise when we went on a Carnival cruise, but I have everything in here. Of course, have my Kindle, can't forget that. It is fully charged. Let me actually make sure that the book is downloaded on my Kindle before I leave and lose Wi-Fi. Okay, ready to go. I'm so excited. I'm actually running late. I was supposed to be getting there at 12 and it is 11:41. I'm so excited. If you've read this book already, let me know what you think of it down in the comments below. No spoilers though. Really quick before we head out, here is the OOTD. I have a bathing suit on from Skims, Abercrombie jeans that I cut into shorts, my beach bag. I need to go find some sandals that I want to throw on, and we are ready to go. We just made it to the pool. It's a lot smaller than it was advertised online, but that's all good. It feels really good out here. It's hot, but there's a breeze, so it's perfect. And the DJ starts at 1 o'clock, so about 5 minutes, and then there'll be a DJ. We're gonna order food and drinks and read some Kennedy Ryan. I'm also vlogging in public. Is everyone proud of me? I'm back home now from the pool, and I'm taking a little bit of a reading break to get myself ready for the night. I just got out the shower and it feels so good to wash all the chlorine and sunscreen and sun off of me. Now it's time to wash my face. I got pretty far in the book. It's really good. I really like it so far. I am on chapter 11, which is page 87. But it was really nice to be at the pool and kind of lounge around while I read. I wish that they didn't have the music as loud. We went there because they were having a live DJ, but I didn't realize how distracting like DJ music can be when you're trying to read a book, but it was still a good time. I obviously don't want to give too much away about the book if you haven't read it yet. So basically it's like a forbidden love story, which those are always fun to read because we obviously know that the characters are going to get together in the end, but the exciting part is how they get together. And so far I really like it. I think both characters definitely have chemistry. I know sometimes I read books and I'm just like, I don't see these people falling in love at all, but I see it with these two, and somehow Kennedy Ryan just knows how to write characters so well, like that mesh well together. Excited to see where this book goes. I think there's like 40 something chapters in this book. No, there's 53 chapters, 419 pages. So we're only 23% into the book, but honestly that's really good for just starting at like 2-ish, I think is when I started the book, and I stopped reading around 7:30, so for 5 hours. And I was reading and swimming and reading and swimming. Besides the book, the pool was really, really nice. The water felt so good. It was really hot outside, so it was nice that the water was super cold. I was a little worried that I was gonna get burned because of how bad the sun was, but with the clouds and the breeze, it made it a little bit better. But yeah, more about the book. I really feel like I can relate to Hendrix out of the friend group, just like what she does for her career. She's child free, she's very like confident in herself, and she's a lot of things that I aspire to be. So I have been just like loving reading her chapters. There is a character that I already don't like. I think she's introduced in the first chapter, but you get to see like why you don't really like her pretty quickly, like in chapter 2 and 3, I would say. I think it's 2 and 3. There's just certain things that she does that's like unnecessary. I love when authors can write in characters that are just annoying, because obviously these characters are fake, but they just feel so real just based on the way that Kennedy Ryan writes her books. She makes them feel real, and you get like annoyed and irritated with these people. They have nothing to do with my life, obviously, but I'm trying to be super vague and not give stuff away in case anyone hasn't read the book yet and is still planning on it. I give it a 5 out of 5 so far already. Honestly, I expected nothing less from Kennedy Ryan. She has more books out there from like different series. I think it's like Long Shot, Block Shot, and something else. And then she has Real. So I have lots of Kennedy Ryan books I need to get through, but I'm definitely gonna be sad when this one's over. I'm all done with my skincare. That honestly didn't take me that long at all. I didn't even realize I was doing it because I was talking about the book so much. It is 9:25 and I am exhausted. I kind of want to keep reading. I don't want to stop here. So I might read some more tonight. I might read a chapter or two right now, or at least before I go to sleep, because it's just so good. I feel like all I want to do is read. I don't even want to be on my phone, which is crazy to say because I'm addicted to my phone, but that's what Kennedy Ryan books do to me. Happy Sunday. We've had a very productive morning this morning. We did grocery shopping, we had a little lunch date, but now we're back home and I'm gonna get back into reading. I did read a little bit this morning. I think I'm at like page 108 now, so I read about 20 pages this morning before we got up and when I got groceries, but I'm about to go sit down and read more of the book. So let's see how far we can get today, starting with page 108. So I made it to page 118, so about 10 pages I think. I'm starting to fall asleep. So I'm gonna put on a trashy TV show and probably take a nap. I saw this show come up on my Instagram called Sneaky Link that came out on Netflix, and of course it looks terrible, but I also have to watch it. So I'm gonna take a quick reading break and watch this and then take a nap, and I'll probably start reading it again. I really love this book. I'm really happy with how it's going so far. I love the representation, and it's just a great book. I'm really loving it. I literally have to force myself to stop reading to get things done, and I'm sad that I'm falling asleep because that means I have to stop reading, but we will pick it back up soon. But we'll pick it back up soon. It has been a minute. It is now the next Saturday, so it's been a week since I last talked to you guys. I haven't been able to read as much as I've wanted to, and it really bums me out, but we had a busy week, what can you do? But I wanted to give you guys a quick book update. I am gonna read for like an hour before we go out today, so I figured I would update you guys. I'm now 40% into the book. I'm on page 162, chapter 19. So we're making our way through this book. I just wanted to be done with it, but also I'm kind of glad I'm not done with it because I don't want this book to end. Since it is the last book of the series, it makes me really sad, but the book is so good, so I just want to keep reading. But let me tell you guys my thoughts. I wrote down some notes so I can remember, and I'm gonna try to keep it as spoiler free as possible. Okay, so I wrote, reading people who are meant to be together, not being able to be together is so exciting. I think I just really like the forbidden love, and they're not really like forbidden to be with each other. Their dynamic of how they met and how they're connected is just really awkward. So it's not as dramatic as like they can never be together, but the way that they met is just kind of weird if they did get together, but we obviously as the reader know that they're gonna end up together. So it's just exciting to see how it's gonna end, how they're gonna actually become a couple and overcome this obstacle of forbidden love that they have. So trying to find out how they end up together is just really exciting, and I love I love how she wrote this one out. I don't think I've ever seen something like this per se in a book that I read, but I really like it. Let's see, I also wrote that I just love like the Black luxury and seeing Black people in spaces where we aren't always welcome or some don't think that we belong. In every book in the Skyland series, all of the characters are of luxury or have money or have worked really hard to get to where they are. And I just think that the series just portrays Black luxury in such a beautiful way. Like from the big parties, box suites, courtside tickets, they own things, they own restaurants, they own companies, they own businesses that are all very successful. And I just think it's just so nice to see the representation of Black people being successful, because in our day-to-day, that's not really what is shown to us, or it's unrealistic for Black people to be successful. So I just like reading a book where that's the norm. Like, it just makes me feel really good. There's also a side relationship in the book between two of the other characters that I am genuinely curious about. Like, I know that they're not the main topic or the main focus of the book, but I think it's nice to have another couple to follow. Okay, and then the last point I wrote is Hendrik's mom. It's honestly so heartbreaking reading about a relationship with a parent that has Alzheimer's. I don't know anything about Alzheimer's. But I feel like Kennedy Ryan wrote it really beautifully, and if this is something that you've experienced, I would think that you would think that she did a good job with representation. If I'm not wrong, I think she does have like firsthand experience with it. Maybe it was someone in her family. I think it was in her like opening chapter, but I can't remember exactly. But it's just really, really sad and heartbreaking to read about how confusing it is for everybody involved. Confusing for the person who has Alzheimer's, and confusing for the family members who are trying to help, you know, navigate this and make them as comfortable as possible and not have them have to relive a lot of tragic things that went on in their life just because they forgot about it. And I think that it would be comforting to read about it and kind of see that like you're not alone in this. There's one specific chapter with her mom, Hendrik's mom, that was just so sad, and it was hard to read. I had to stop a couple times, and it was just really sad. I don't know, but yeah, those are my thoughts so far. I am really loving this book. It is so good and so captivating, and I'm just loving it so much, and I don't want to put it down. So I'm gonna get in an hour of reading. It is 10:53 right now. Maybe an hour and a half. Maybe we'll do an hour and a half of reading. So we will do a timer because we do have places to be today, so I can't read all day even though I want to. But okay, I'm gonna start an hour and a half timer. We are starting at page 162, so let's go. Also, we're in my reading chair. I don't even know if I talked about this chair at all, but let me show you guys. Hold on. I got this chair a few months ago, I think, to put in my little reading corner so I would have a cute place to sit and read. Eventually I want to get a shelf to put here, and then some artwork on the wall, probably on just this wall because this wall has all my vinyls. And then I bought this lamp to make this corner super cozy. I just think it looks amazing. This is my reading corner. She's perfect. Just gotta add some more things to it. Okay, but let's get some reading done and dive back in. It hasn't been an hour and a half yet. I actually still have 40 minutes to go, but I just made it to a new chapter. I just love. I feel like I'm such a lover girl. It's kind of annoying like how giddy I get reading how much they like each other, but like obviously they both, oh, my camera's gonna die. But like, yeah, obviously they both feel a connection, but as the reader, it's just so cute. Like I'm just so happy. I'm over here cheesing and smiling over two made-up characters. I'm pretty sure I went over my hour and a half. I went to check how much time I had left on my timer, and it was off. I had paused it to text my cousin, and I just never pressed play. So I don't know how long I've been reading, but I started at 10:55 and it is now 12:30. So maybe that is an hour and a half. 10:55, 11:55. yeah, we'll just say it's been an hour and a half. But I made it to page 218, chapter 27. A lot happened. I wrote down a couple thoughts. I usually am not a fan of like slow burns or like slow love stories, but this one is done in the perfect way because it's still slow, you know. There's moments where like they should kiss or they should get together and they don't, but it like makes sense for this story. So I really like this slow burn, which I never thought I would say. I read a book in the past where it was just like way too slow and I was like, I can't handle this, but this is really good. I also really love the child free by choice representation. There was a quote that she said, it says, "You're still a child yourself when they shove a baby doll in your hands and say, pretend you're the mommy." And that's just what we're supposed to do. And naturally you just want kids. And I was like, yeah, like growing up, we're told you go to school, you get married, you have kids, happily ever after. Like we're never told any other form of life or any other choice in life. And I just really like that this book is so focused on that. Well, it's not so focused on that, but she's very strong in that. And as someone who wanted children at one point and then now does not want children, it makes me feel less crazy because she also said in the book, like, I don't ever ask anyone to defend why they want to have children. And like, yeah, I never question anybody else's like choices to have kids, but yeah, I always get questioned on why I don't want to have kids, or someone always tells me I'm going to change my mind, or always has something to say about me not wanting kids and making me feel like I'm this crazy person for making a choice for my life. So I just really loved and appreciated that whole chapter or monologue about why she doesn't want kids and why it's okay to not want kids and why it's okay to go against the norms that society has taught us and do things that you love. Also, she mentioned that like we don't have to have children to nurture something. We can nurture our careers, our hobbies, or just things that bring us joy. Like her job, her career is her baby. Her career is something that she nurtures and raises and wants to see grow. And it makes me think like, what are some things in my life that I want to see grow and see flourish? So yeah, I'm feeling very happy, and I don't know if this is the right word, but fulfilled from reading this. Like I feel good about my life choices and I don't feel crazy. Like I just feel like this book is really speaking to me. At least these last few chapters have been. And then like I told you guys, I'm such a lover girl. Like I just love when the male character is just obsessed with the female character. It just makes me so happy to see how he's just so into her. Something that is different with this book also is the character like is straight up about what he wants. Like obviously they're older, so maybe that's why, and like there's none of that like hidden message of like he likes her and he wants to date her, but he is just so straight up, and I just really like that. I appreciate that in this book because I feel like a lot of books they're like, oh, I want to tell her I like her but I'm scared, but this one he's just like, no, I like you, I want to be with you, I want to date you, I don't care. Like I love it. I'm really happy. I'm so sad I have to stop reading, but it's 12:34 now. We have to be somewhere at 1 o'clock, so we're going to pause here. But we got a good chunk done today, so I'm very happy about that, and I cannot wait to come home and read. We're gonna go sit by the pool at my cousin's house, so maybe I will find time to read. Honestly, I probably won't have time. We always are having a good time and laughing and playing games, but just in case, I'm gonna bring my book. Hi guys, future me. As I was editing this part of the video, I realized that I am kind of dropping some little spoilers. So if you have not read the book, please skip to this timestamp, the next timestamp, because I do drop some things. I tried to edit it out as much as I possibly could to not give away a lot, but I didn't want to cut out too much because I really liked my genuine reaction to this part of the book, and it's a good topic of discussion if you have read the book and you just want to chat about it. So yeah, sorry about that, but skip to this timestamp if you have not read the book. Okay, back in the reading chair. I just read a couple chapters from the book and I just have to talk about it because my mouth was on the floor. I love when I read books that literally have me gasping out loud, and just, it's crazy that these people aren't real, but they feel so real. Anyways, without giving away too much because I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but chapters 33 and 34 were so good. We finally reached like our conflict in the book. The audacity that this woman has is so crazy, and I'm talking like these people are real, but they feel so real when you're reading it. Some of the stuff that she says about the main character is just crazy and so rude, but I do understand it. like considering the whole premise of how they got together and who they are and how they all tie in together. I would be a little upset too, but it's okay. She'll get over it. We'll be fine. I don't know. I feel like they did it in the most respectful way they possibly could, and she was gonna be hurt regardless whenever they got together because she obviously loves him, and they only broke up for one reason that could have been preventable if she was just honest with herself from the beginning. I don't know. Is that a spoiler if I say why they broke up? I don't know. They broke up because it's definitely very, very crazy. There's high emotions and all of that, but oh, it's so good. But I don't know how I would react. I probably would be hurt as well. And I always go on the side of girl code, but in this case, I'm voting for Hendrix and I have to cut girl code, which is bad of me to say, but it is what it is. But I'm gonna keep reading. I am 66% into this book. I'm happy that I'm taking my time with this book versus like reading it really fast, because I can really soak it all in and just really like dive into this book, especially because it's the last one. But I'm definitely gonna be reading more Kennedy Ryan after this. These 3 books were my intro to her, and I'm obsessed with her writing style. I love the way that she builds stories, paints a picture, how she talks about Black love and like friendship. So I'm a Kennedy Ryan fan for sure. All right, I can't put this off any longer. We're gonna go ahead and finish the book. We're on chapter 51, page 382. We're gonna finish it up. There's 400 pages in the actual book, and then the epilogue starts at 407, ends at 419. So we have 37 pages left of the book to go. So we're at the final stretch. Let's finish it. Finished. That was such a good book. So final thoughts. Really, really loved it. I think Kennedy Ryan did such a good job with this one. She touched on so many topics outside of just romance that there was just so many things to like latch on to, so many things to pull at your emotions, and she just did such a good job with a lot of representation. She touched on so many different topics such as Alzheimer's, family issues, body image, grief, inequality. Like there was just so much packed in here outside of it being just a romance book that there's just something for everybody. I really, really loved that we get a ending to every single character's storyline. Like every character that we have been introduced to from the beginning of this series gets closure and gets an ending. I think that she ended it perfectly. I'm happy with the ending that everybody got, and I have no questions. Like I'm not wondering what anyone is doing. And I think that was super important because we got so involved and learned so much about each one of the friends' life that knowing where they are now just gives the reader that like closure and ending. Like, okay, everybody's doing well. They went through a lot, but now they're all happy and they got what they wanted. I also really like that since we already know about Hendrix's life, we don't need to do any of the world building that you have to do typically with like the first book or when you're introducing someone new. We learned so much about Hendrix throughout the other 2 books that this book was just able to start. Like you are thrown right into Hendrix's world in the beginning of this book, which I really liked. I think I would have taken off a couple stars if we had to do more world building, more explaining about Hendrix and her personality and all of that. But since Kennedy Ryan is such an amazing writer and she is so good at what she does, there was no need for that because we knew everything we needed to know about Hendrix, so we could just dive right into this book. As far as like a spice smut level, I would give this like a 2.5 out of 5. Compared to all the books that I've read, this one wasn't that spicy. It does have its moments, but it's not a lot. It's not overbearing. Like it's kind of just the right amount. In the whole series, this is the spiciest book out of all 3. So just keep that in mind if that's not your jam. But it honestly wasn't that bad compared to what I've read before. I did rate this one a 5 out of 5 on Goodreads, and where this one falls in the whole series, I would say it's my second favorite. I still think that Before I Let Go, which is the first book, is my all-time favorite. And then this one, and then This Could Be Us is my third favorite. I did like that book, but not as much as I like the other two. If you do want to read these books, you can read them out of order. Like, they're all kind of standalone, but I personally wouldn't recommend it because the whole dynamic of these books in this series is the friendship and how strong their friendship is, and without reading the other two books, the character dynamic won't hit as hard for you. So if that's something that you want, like if you're someone that really dives into the worlds of their books, then I would recommend reading them in order. But if you're someone just looking for a cute love story, then you can read them in any order that you want to. But I want to get into some spoilers and my final thoughts about the book and kind of talk about it. So if you haven't read this book, definitely end this video here. Don't go forward. I'm giving you a warning now. Do not blame me if I spoiled this book for you. Here's your warning to exit the video now. If you are exiting, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me while we read this book. And hopefully you guys are inspired to read this book because it was so good. And let me know if you do read it down in the comments below. Okay, let's get into my final thoughts with spoilers. This is your final warning if you're still here and you haven't read the book. So I took some notes, so if I'm looking down, that's what I'm looking at. My favorite part about this book was probably how all the characters met in this book. I feel like with a lot of forbidden loves, it's because it's like somebody the parent doesn't want them to date, or somebody is like best friend's boyfriend, best friend's ex-boyfriend, or your best friend's sister, brother, whoever it may be. But this one being that it was Hendrix's client, Chappell's TV producer, and her ex-boyfriend was different, and I think it added a nice twist to it, because when we talk about girl code, that's where it gets kind of tricky. But we'll get into that in a second. And I also love that since Hendrix is child free, she needed a man who was also child free, which I like that he wasn't fully child free and he had one child, but he was like a one and done type of person. His daughter is like 18, I think she is now, and he doesn't want to start all over. So I think that was a good way to show that like he had a kid, he's done with them, so that's why he's perfect for Hendrix, because Hendrix doesn't have to take care of his kid. She's grown, she's old, you know, she's off living in Africa, so there's no like maternal call for Hendrix. She still gets to be child free even though Maverick does have a daughter. So I thought that was really nice. It was different. I liked it. And then I just love how overall they got together. I think that it was a nice touch that they had no idea who each other was, and he just saw her dancing, which is in her element, because in the first two books we learned that she's like the life of the party. Her favorite song to dance to is Candy by Cameo, and I just think that that was the perfect way for them to meet. Her in her natural element, exuding just the most confidence. She's out there, she's dancing, she's moving around, she's being the life of the party, she's getting everybody together. Like, that is Hendrix. Whenever we read or heard about Hendrix before, that's how we saw her, and so I think that's the perfect way for them to be introduced to each other. And then I thought it was a nice touch that they had the connection over a family member having Alzheimer's, where he experienced it with his grandfather and she's experienced with her mother, and so they kind of have a connection already, that and have that invisible string between them already, because they can relate to each other. He can comfort her whenever she's having like a bad day or doesn't know what to do or doesn't know how to help her mom. I thought that was really nice, and I feel like that made their connection stronger. And you obviously want the best for your family member, but you also have to battle like trying to deal with that grief and losing someone who's still here, if that makes sense. So that is what made their connection so strong and made them so compatible. And like, I can understand why he was so drawn to her and she was so drawn to him, and like nobody will understand that type of connection besides them two. Going back to the girl code thing, the more that I think about it, the more I stand by what I said earlier, that girl code does not apply to this situation, because Ziera was never a friend to her. From the moment that her and Hendrix talked about Hendrix and Maverick dating, Ziera was right away was like, oh, I'm not worried about you, you're not his type. Like, what is that supposed to mean? And I think Kennedy Ryan did a really good job at describing how Hendrix looks. She's a thick, curvy woman. So for Ziera to say that was just rude, and it threw girl code out the window. Like, there's no girl code there. Plus, you don't talk about your friends like that. So if we're not friends, girl code does not apply. But reading that, we obviously knew what she was getting at, and I think that was like the tipping point for Hendrix to just go for Maverick for what she wanted, because Zier was never friendly to her at all. She also said it twice, once to Hendrik and once to Maverick. The way that she wrote that chapter about him sticking up for himself and Hendrik's, about like how rude of her to think that he bases beauty off of somebody's body type, and how she really didn't even know him if she thinks that he's only gonna date someone for how they look. So I love that. Maverick is definitely that man. So yeah, I stand by what I said. Girl code does not apply here to Zier. She was never a friend of Hendrik's. I will say it was kind of messy that they hooked up at Zier's 40th birthday party, but that's none of my business. Girl code does not apply. And they were broken up for a long time when that did happen, so we'll let it slide. Another thing I want to talk about was the reason why Maverick and Zier broke up in the first place. I was shook. I was so shook. So obviously we're talking about a child-free lifestyle in this book. The fact that Zier admitted that she thought that Maverick would change his mind eventually and want to have a kid with her after he was very open about not wanting another kid because he already did it once, he doesn't want to do it again, and she was like, oh, he'll change his mind. Ugh. I hated that. Oh my god, that made me so annoyed. And I feel like we see it a lot. Like, a lot of people think they're just gonna change their mind. If someone's mind is set in one way and they're telling you that, I think it's just rude to go behind their back and hope that they secretly change their mind. I don't know, that's just me, but that's even more of a reason for me not to like Zier and for me not to feel bad that her and Maverick broke up. I'm sorry, but you can't expect somebody to do something that they clearly don't want to do, and it's very rude of you to waste their time and be with them and say you're okay with something when you're really not. Maverick was never Zier's man to begin with, and she was just so entitled to him, and telling Hendrix that she stole him from her was crazy. But she did get her happy ending in the end, so that's great. She ended up with a kid and a fiance, so we're happy for her. But that was kind of crazy. I was shook. The drama was everything. I loved the side character love story with Skipper and Bull. I thought that was really cute. I wanted to know a little bit more about why she was crying in that one chapter. I don't know if it was there, I just missed it, but in the one chapter where Skipper was obviously distraught about something that happened with Bolt and made them like not talk for a while. Maybe I missed it, maybe I'll have to go back and read that again, but either way, they got their happy ending. They're off in the Amalfi coast, and they're all official and lovey-dovey and all the things, so that's great. But maybe I'll have to go back and figure out, maybe I missed something on why she was so upset, or maybe we didn't really need to know, or maybe we just got to let the reader decide what happened. I don't know. Let's talk about Maverick real quick, because the way that this man loved Hendrix, I would have folded immediately. Like, I would have given up everything. But no, like, I loved the way that Kennedy Ryan wrote how much he loved her, and I wasn't expecting him to give up his basketball team for her. That was a nice little touch, because I think since the whole book was about Hendrix not giving up anything for love, even though she wanted a man and wanted to be with somebody so bad, she also wasn't willing to give up her career or any of her opportunities for a man, which agreed. But I loved the way that he loved Hendrix. I think that it's a good representation of true love and unconditional love. It was just so beautiful. Like, you were rooting for them to be together no matter what they like went through. Like, you were always rooting for him to win, and no matter how many times Hendrix ignored him or, you know, was ignoring the flowers he was sending, like, you still wanted to root for Maverick. And I just loved how much he loved Hendrix, and I love that he didn't push her to be with him. Like, he definitely applied pressure, but it was still on her own time, and he was just showing her that you don't have to give up everything you want to be with me. He just wanted to be a part of her life, and that's it. He didn't even want anything else but to be with her. And I was just like, ah, that's so cute. The twist that I didn't see coming was with Hendrix being sued for inequality, which is like so ironic because her whole fund is about funding Black women and women businesses because of the inequality that we face. But I thought it was a good way to show how much Hendrik puts into her job and show that Maverick was willing to give up his dreams for the time being in order to see her win, because that was like the biggest thing in this book, is that she didn't want to give up her job. She didn't want to give up her opportunities to be in a relationship, and instead he gave up his dreams of owning a basketball team until, you know, later on. But I think that was a nice way to touch on two topics that are completely opposite. One, the social inequality that we face having Black owned businesses and women owned businesses, and also that you don't have to give up everything
to be in a relationship and to get the love that you want and you deserve. Like I don't know how Kennedy Ryan does it, but she somehow combines both of these topics into one and just makes them make sense. Like what? Crazy. But yeah, that's everything that I wrote down. Loved this book. I hope I'm not forgetting anything that I want to talk about, but we can talk about it in the comments or DM me if you don't want to comment it, because it might be like a huge spoiler. But this book ended the exact way that I would want it to. I can't think of a better ending. I don't know how she did it, but she literally ended it perfectly. I'm really sad that it's over. I need to find my next series to read, something else to dive into. But yeah, I definitely want to read more Kennedy Ryan books though, for sure. She is a great writer, and she is so good at what she does. That's gonna be it for me today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me while we read Can't Get Enough. Let me know your thoughts about the book. If you're not already, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.